Hello fellow Fistborn players. In this video I'm going to give extra details for how stats work in Fistborn, to give you a better representation in order to make a build, due to other stat guides just being off of what they think exactly. I am a tester with exclusive information and I can help you make a perfect build depending on what you want to do. I may make other videos in the future going into exact builds, but this one will just explain what certain things do that I almost guarantee you don't know already. For strength is the base of damage for quote-unquote most builds. I'll get to why I said that in a second. But strength is where you will get basically all of your damage. If you plan to go lean, I recommend upholding maximum limit breaks on strength with all updates. Strength does come with a cost though. It makes your M1 stamina drain much faster than usual. If you plan to go sumo or wrestling, I recommend not getting too much of it, as it is a heavy impact on the drain you take. I know you may be hearing this and think I'm crazy. I know the exact scalings for some styles. Sumo and wrestling have around 15% strength scaling of what lean styles have. The pro for having wrestling or sumo is, they have side buffs such as extra health, and that's what their damage scales off of. If you plan to go wrestling or sumo and stay wrestling or sumo, I recommend getting only 1000 through 1150, so your fat and muscle have something to scale off of. And you can also have good stamina that is viable for PvP even with only 4000. Let's move on to durability. Durability is simple. It just gives you more health, and there is nothing cool or any extra information about it. The grind for durability is relatively easy if you can macro for a long amount of time and also macro overnight. Currently, sit-ups with heavy vest is a very good method for durability, as you can get around 100 a day from doing sit-ups with heavy vest. I recommend getting only 4 or less limit breaks on it due to how easy it is to get it. Make sure to check the logs or ask in general chat if this video is more than a few weeks old, as they could change it. Now let's move on to agility. This is a very important part of your build, as it can make or break it. Agility is a decently hard to get stat because after around 1400 it gets decently expensive and takes a while to grind. Some people think going zero agility is a good method, as agility can be grinded to the point of soft cap, and you'll be perfectly fine, which is kinda true. But it depends on how much dedication you have and your build. If you plan to go lean, I recommend getting only 2 or 3, as it makes it easier to get to the 2000 speed cap. If you plan to go muscle, I recommend getting 5 or 6 due to how hard it gets after 1400, and the fact that muscle and fat can slow you down and make it much harder to PvP. If you have enough dedication and a bunch of rich friends, you can try going zero agility, but just know that it will take a few weeks to do. And don't be stupid and think you don't need 2000 agility. I can promise that it makes grinding and PvP significantly easier. If you plan to go lean, I recommend getting only 2 or 3, as it makes it easier to get to the 2000 speed cap. If you plan to go muscle, I recommend getting 5 or 6 due to how hard it gets after 1400, and the fact that muscle and fat can slow you down and make it much harder to PvP. Now for stamina. Stamina is how long you can perform an action, for whether that be running or fight thing. The amount of limit breaks should be lower on stamina. I know this, see? Another thing you'll probably call me crazy for, but just listen. Stamina is still insanely easy to grind, even without limit breaks. I recommend only going for 3 or 4, as it can be grinded without limit breaks, and it's more worth it to put limit breaks into other stats. The only reason you should be going more than 4 is if you want an insane amount of fat and or muscle and you need that extra boost to 5000. Now onto the most controversial stat of them all, dexterity. 95% of players will tell you to not put anything into dexterity or only put 2 or 3, and I must say that other 5% is correct. Although dexterity barely scales onto how fast you punch or how many frames you have when dodging, it is still a crucial stat. Dexterity has scaling in every single lean style. In most lean styles, dexterity has around a 30% impact on how much damage you do. Dexterity is also insanely hard to grind, which is why most turn it off. At around 700 dexterity, your sessions will cost you around 70,000 and take 4 to 5 hours to complete, which is insane. I know. But later into the game, everyone who did that harsh grind and got their dexterity in will be doing far more damage than the people that didn't. For heavy players that went sumo and wrestling, it is still crucial for the swing speed, because swing speed obviously is good for PvP and muscle, and fat slows it down an immense amount. For muscle and fat, I'll make a separate video on later. And also because I don't have much information on those, as they have changed quite a bit without anyone knowing. Make sure to join Fistborn info in the description below, as it has more useful Fistborn info that can help you out.